Hi, I'm Bobby Pierre with Tap Into, and I'm here today for my monthly chat with Mayor Al Morgan. Hi, Al. Thank you
Well,
for having me.
thanks for having me. Seems to be working out really well for both of us.
It's great. And what I want to start doing is educating my readers on local government. And
Okay.
who's better to talk to than the mayor? So I want to give them a little civics lesson. And I know that you're good at it because I heard that you were at the elementary school today.
Yeah, Lynn Kowalski for years have been inviting me in to her third grade class because that's when they learn about the federal, state, and local governments. And she always has me come in, and I love talking to the kids
That's
because
great.
they really are interested and come up with some good questions. And one of them asked me a couple of years ago, "Do you have veto power?" And I'm like, I can't believe a kid knows what a veto is. But in
That's
this form of government,
hysterical.
I do.
Okay.
So the one thing about local governments, they're all different. Like we're a borough form where we have the mayor, which is a 4-year term, and 6 council people who are on 3-year terms. Now, Berkeley Heights is totally different. They have a township committee, but their mayor is an elected mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Chatham Township has a township committee, but they're all elected, but they appoint a mayor
Okay.
for a year. So they change all the time. I'm really not a big fan of that form of
It's
government.
it's funny how these towns are so close together, but they have
All
different
different.
forms of government.
And some it's way different. They go by wards and they have one council person at large and an elected mayor. So every all of them are different and they all have different responsibilities.
Okay. So, what do you find are your most significant challenges in local government?
I think, well, everybody is scrambling for money. I mean, budgetary concerns are always the most important.
Hmm.
Without money, you can't, do what you have to do. The one thing, um,
And no one wants to raise taxes.
no, nobody wants to raise taxes, but I tell all our employees that all we are is a service company. And working for UPS all those years, I know what that means.
Hmm.
And we're here to service our community the best way we know how. But you know what? It takes money to provide good service. And there's some projects that are coming up that the community will be hearing about, like we need to renovate the police station.
Hmm.
It's woefully inadequate for our needs now. It hasn't been touched since probably 1982. Um, and the Public Works building. We have to take a strong look at that because that some of that those buildings haven't been touched since I would say the 50s. So, these are things we have to get done. But if you're going to do something like that, you have to put out a bond, and you want to stretch that bond out as far as you can because you want to do with the life of the facility. And if you're going to build a facility, you might as well have it where it's going to last you 40, 50 years.
Of course. Yeah. So, in the mayor council form of government,
Hmm.
what is the mayor's main roles?
Well, there's 3 significant roles. One, I'm the chief executive officer, so I have to sign all sorts of contracts, things
Okay.
like that. The other thing is that I'm the presiding officer. That means I preside over all the meetings. The third thing is I'm in charge of public safety. So, police, fire, emergency
Okay.
management, and oversee the rescue squad, things like that.
So,
Those are the main areas the mayor takes care of.
okay. And are there appointments that you
I
are
make all
responsible?
I make all the appointments. Some are unilateral appointments, but most are with a concurrence of council.
Okay.
But I really I inform the council on everything,
Okay.
and everybody should be brought into the process. And I mean, I have a public safety committee. I want two other councilmen with me when we make decisions like that and bring it back to the full council.
Now, do you work closely with, say, the clerk or the business administrator to create the agenda for the next council meeting?
Really, Bernadette, the borough administrator, and Denise,
The
our
clerk.
clerk, they make that agenda. But
Okay.
what Bernadette does, which I love, and I'm invited to all of them, is department head meetings every Tuesday.
Okay.
And I sit in some of them. Not that I don't trust what they're doing, but it's good to go and just see how things are, how it works, and most of all, just to thank them for doing such a good job. I
It's
think
good
it's
to be in
important.
the loop of
Right.
everything going
Well,
on.
Bernadette keeps me in the loop of everything.
That's great.
So I couldn't ask for a better borough administrator. And I get along with all the employees, you know, and they feel comfortable enough to come to me if they see something, and that's fine. I love it. I love the interaction. And you've seen other towns.
Yeah.
New Providence, we're like a big family. And the one thing I like about those department head meetings, you could see that everybody interacts. All the departments interact together. So everybody, all the projects, all the things that we do is condoned by all,
Okay.
and it makes the process a lot easier. But they all report on their departments and what's coming up and what needs to be put on the agenda.
Okay. That was what I was going to ask. So
Yeah.
you have a meeting coming up on Tuesday,
Yes.
and there will be ordinances, probably resolutions on the agenda. How do you get to have an item on the agenda?
It would go through the clerk or
Okay.
through Bernadette or a department head gives it to them. So yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
Okay.
If there's a certain issue that a councilman or I want to discuss, we'll put in for a discussion item.
And a conference item, like if
Yeah,
someone's coming
yeah.
in to do a presentation.
Right.
And I know that you give out a lot of
Proclamations. Right.
to deserving citizens for their good work. So when you have your first read, I'm talking real basic
No,
civics,
please.
because I really don't believe people understand what goes into the meeting and the governance of your borough.
I think you're right. I mean, it takes a long time to learn how and why
It doesn't
things
happen
work.
overnight.
No. And what I think a lot of the public doesn't understand is that you were so constricted by federal state laws that there's a lot of things that you really want to do, but you can't do. And there's reasons for it. And, as much as you'd like to help people do certain things, by law, you can't. So that's the frustrating part.
That's probably the biggest misconception of
Right.
local government, is that you can control everything in
Right,
the town.
exactly. Oh, they think the mayor can take care of everything. And
Yeah.
really, you can't. But you do what you can do.
Now, how do you work with the county and the state?
Great. Well, as you know, I'm also a sergeant at arms for the assembly. So I know most of the assemblymen by first name. And, our state representatives, Senator Bramnick, Assemblywoman Matsakudis, and Munoz. I mean, Michelle was a council person here.
Right.
John and I have been personal friends for decades. Nancy, I've known for a great number of years, so get along great with them. Tom Kane, our congressman, I knew him ever since before he was on the assembly. So
So you can be a
yeah,
phone call
yeah,
away if you need
yeah,
assistance.
and the county. I mean, there's the county commissioners. I get along great with. Everybody says, "Oh, well, they're Democrats." Well, guess what? We're all here for the purpose of making, our community the best it can be. And
Hmm.
I've never had a problem with the county.
Good.
Anything that, and I've said this many times, if I don't ask and bother them all the time, but when I really need something, they know I need it, and they've always come through to give me what I needed, and usually given me more than what I've needed. So I have a great relationship with them. Al Mirabella and I have go back decades. I mean, we're friends.
Good.
A lot of them, we're friends, and we just want to do the right thing. We all laugh and say, "Well, there's silly season, then there's the rest of
Right.
the year."
Well,
So
I know, I mean, politics is quite contentious,
yes,
as
it
we
can be.
know. And to keep it civil within the community and do what's best for the community, what would you tell the younger generation, which you just talked to third graders, but even sixth graders, ninth graders, 12th graders that want to really participate in government? What is your advice to them?
I would tell them to study what goes on. Come to some council meetings.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid. We don't bite here. In fact, we try it. If we see Boy Scouts here, Girl Scouts, we ask them, "Do you have any questions for us? Uh, is there any way that you want to come to and ask us how they can participate in different projects, this and that?" We're open to it. And I'd love to get the high school uh, population more involved because, quite honestly, they're our next leaders.
I was going to say they're our future,
And
so
you know,
it would be great.
I grew up in New Prague. I was born and raised here.
Hmm.
And where we're sitting now is actually my fifth grade classroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, if you told me back in third grade, "Oh, you're going to be the mayor," I'd say, "You're out of your mind." And even when I was in high school, I'd go to a class, "You're still the mayor?" So, but I think it's a calling. I love doing it.
Hmm.
And
Even being involved in committees, I'm sure just talking to the different council people, they started on either boards or committees.
Right.
They're volunteers and
Volunteers.
people of service.
Right.
That's a good
And
way to start.
I'm lucky to have a very good council. And they all want to do what's best for the town. And believe me, we have arguments just like everybody else, but you know what? We resolve our differences. We come to compromise, and we look for the best way to do things. And I think that's where you could see it in especially like in Washington. I mean, people have to get along, and you can't take this stuff personally. I honestly believe that most people want to do the right thing. But people tend to want to do things, get to that end point
Yeah.
in different ways.
We've been in an impasse for so
Yeah.
long, and it's not getting better.
No, and I agree with that. And
Yeah.
I know change is difficult.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, change is difficult. I can even bring up the moving of the line, the school kids from Livingston Avenue over to South
Right.
Street. Now I'm getting requests all the time. Talk to the board. The mayor and council have absolutely nothing to do with the board of education. Not that we won't work together to
Right.
get different projects done, or when it comes to school resource officers, things like that. But policy and line changes, we have no say in that.
Okay.
And it's hard for people to understand. That's what I mean. They say, "Oh, Mr. Mayor, you handle the town."
Right.
Well, I don't handle that.
Well,
one.
they think that you're the overall
Right.
boss of
Exactly.
of
And
every aspect. of it.
they're actually state employees, really. I mean, they go by
They take a big
Title
chunk of
19.
the taxes, though.
Oh, 60%. But I have to say, in New Providence, that they are very diligent in their tax increases.
Mhm.
And nobody can dispute that they do a very good job in educating our children.
Of
So
course, yeah.
we're always highly rated.
Mhm.
So, you know, I'm
Your sports aren't so bad either.
yeah, we're doing very, very well.
Go Pioneers
Yeah,
basketball.
and I'm a Pioneer through and through. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This was a great
Sure.
lesson. It's
Yeah.
a start for the community to learn a little more, and maybe they can write in some questions.
You know, I
and-
was just going to suggest that. You know,
Yeah.
if you see this and you have some questions, you know, I'd be more than happy to answer them.